There are many reasons a marriage can fail. Unresolved tension from an argument, or, in my case, a revelation that completely changed everything. It wasn't the fight itself that ended my relationship with Stacy, but what I uncovered during one of our typical squabbles. It all started on a seemingly normal Saturday morning. Stacy and I were yet again in the middle of a heated shouting match. I don't even remember what sparked it. Probably something trivial like dirty dishes or laundry left unfolded. These petty household disagreements were just part of our routine. Both of us felt the need to prove we were right and impose our opinions, like every little thing was a battle to be won. Our fights were so intense that we'd go days without speaking. Whether it was over what movie to watch or whether someone should rinse their coffee cup, our tempers flared equally. At some point, we accepted this as just how we were, our Italian-style relationship, where fiery clashes were thought to be a sign of passion. This argument was no different. We yelled hurtful words, digging deep for the most cutting insults. Then Stacy screamed, "That's it, I'm done. I'm leaving you forever." Without thinking, I shot back. "Who needs someone as hysterical as you? Where are you going to find another idiot who'll put up with you?" I know, not my finest moment, but back then all I cared about was landing the sharpest blow. Normally, she'd snap back with something equally hurtful. But this time, something changed. Her expression shifted, and instead of her usual explosive anger, her eyes burned with a controlled rage. Then she said it. "You think no one wants me? My boss has been after me for a long time. He actually thinks I'm amazing." With that, she slammed the door and walked out. Her words hit me like a truck. I was shattered, overwhelmed with rage and betrayal. I needed, to confront her, scream, demand an explanation. But despite my temper, I'd never and would never lay a hand on a woman. Instead, I just wanted to erase that moment from my mind. I wanted to forget it, sleep through it, run away. Anything but sit there drowning in pain. 3 days passed, 3 long, bitter days. I tried convincing myself maybe, just maybe, I'd imagined the whole thing, that it was just another fight gone too far. But then she came back, and she wasn't alone. 2 movers followed her into our apartment as she walked straight to her things without a word. She packed up her life, loaded everything into a waiting car downstairs, and left. No screaming this time. No last-minute words to hurt each other. It was over. For a while, the fights continued, though they were now over the phone. Eventually, even those stopped. The next 6 months were a whirlwind of emotions: anger, jealousy, regret. I couldn't shake the dreams where our fight ended differently. Where Stacy came running back into my arms, confessing she had only said those things to hurt me, that there had never been another man. But every time I woke up, reality hit like a punch to the gut. She had betrayed me, and she was gone. Until one evening, out of nowhere, she showed up at my door, no warning, no explanation. She just rang the bell, like nothing had happened. When I opened the door, she strolled past me, straight to the kitchen, and started making coffee. I watched in stunned silence as she moved around like she still belonged there. Then, as if 6 months of chaos and heartbreak had never happened, she took a sip of her coffee, looked me in the eye, and said, "I want to start over." I cut in, unable to hide how much her words unsettled me. "You are aware that infidelity is the one thing I will never be able to forgive. Physical adultery." Stacy lowered her gaze, avoiding my eyes, but I wasn't done. "The idea that you and him together would never leave me, it would haunt me at the worst times. And I know I won't be able to move past it." She didn't say anything. Neither did I. The silence between us was suffocating. Deep down, a small, desperate part of me clung to one last hope. That if she had made it all up just to hurt me, maybe it would be different. Maybe I could forgive. After a long pause, Stacy admitted that she had made it all up. "There was no affair. I just wanted to hurt you. I wanted to get even with you for saying no one would ever want me. I'm sorry." A single tear welled up in her eye, and her face was full of what seemed like genuine remorse. It was the perfect setup for a dramatic reconciliation. The kind where we'd fall into each other's arms, forgive everything, and pretend love conquered all. Except I already knew the truth. I had proof. I had spoken to one of her coworkers, someone who knew everything. For the past 6 months, Stacy had been living in an apartment that wasn't hers, but paid for by her actual lover, her boss. When I laid it all out for her, she didn't try to argue, deny it, or pretend to be shocked. Instead, she grabbed her purse and bolted. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone. That was all I needed to know. Her grand return to me had nothing to do with love, regret, or second chances. It was desperation, plain and simple. Her relationship with her boss, the one she had risked everything for, had fallen apart. This guy was narcissistic. He lured her with promises of a new life together, telling her everything she wanted to hear. But when the time came, when his paperwork was finally approved, he dumped her. Worse, he only paid her rent for 1 more month. That's when reality hit her. She had been used. And suddenly, her imperfect, ordinary husband, the one who had always taken care of her, didn't seem so bad. So, she came crawling back, ready to lie to my face, hoping to rewrite history. But her little act didn't work. Now, she's the one left picking up the pieces, while her lover flies off to a new life without her. And me? I'm at last free of the falsehoods.